Hello, welcome to this business studies lesson. I am Mrs. Bibi Karima Karimbakas-Lakan, and the target audience for this lesson would be O-level student, grade 10 and 11 student, the IGCSE student, and the IB student. So today the chapter would be on enterprise, business growth, and size. This chapter will explain the definition of entrepreneur with examples, advantages and disadvantages of being an entrepreneur, the key characteristics of successful entrepreneur, the definition of a business plan and how plans assist entrepreneur, the contents of business plan, why and how do governments support business startups, the different methods of measuring the size of a business and their limitations, why some businesses grow and the different types of growth, why do some businesses stay small, and the causes of business failures. Many businesses started from small businesses. New businesses are started by people called entrepreneurs. So, an entrepreneur is a person who organizes, operates, and takes the risk for a new venture. That is, they are people who have an idea for a business, takes the financial risk of starting and managing a new business. Some of the well-known examples of entrepreneurs are Richard Branson, who is the owner of Virgin Groups, Dhirubhai Ambani, who is the owner of Reliance Group, Mark Zuckerberg, who created the famous Facebook social website, and then we have Steve Wozniak, who started Apple Computers. Now let us have a look at the advantages and disadvantages of entrepreneur. The advantages are as follows. So the entrepreneur is independent. So he is able to choose how to use his time and money. The latter would also be able to put his own ideas into practice. And if the business grows, he will become famous and successful. The business may be profitable and the income might be higher than working as an employee in another business. The entrepreneur will also be able to make use of his or her personal interests and skills. On the other hand, the disadvantages of entrepreneur are it is risky. Businesses may fail, and also if there is poor planning. Secondly, the owner, that is the entrepreneur, will have to put his own money, his own capital into the business and possibly find other sources of finance. Sometimes entrepreneurs may lack experience and knowledge, especially in starting and operating a business. And also, there is an opportunity cost. That is, a loss of income from not being an employee of another business. Entrepreneurs come in all shapes and sizes, young and old, male and female, quiet and showy. There is no such thing as a typical entrepreneur. All successful entrepreneurs share similar characteristics like, firstly, to be a hard worker. Entrepreneur has to work for long hours and take short holidays so as to make their business successful. Secondly, is to be a risk taker. That is, making decisions to produce goods and services that people might buy is potentially risky. The next characteristic for a successful entrepreneur is to be creative. That is, a new business needs new ideas about products, services, and ways of attracting customers. Hence, in other words, it is to make it different from existing firms. Optimistic is a characteristic of successful entrepreneur. To be optimist is to look forward to a better future, which is essential for successful businesses. If the entrepreneur thinks only of failure, the business will fail. Next characteristic is self-confident. Being self-confident is necessary to convince other people of your skills and to convince banks and other lenders and customers that your business is going to be successful. The next characteristics of successful entrepreneur is to be innovative. That is, being able to put new ideas into practice in interesting and different ways is also important. Next, it is to be independent. Entrepreneurs will often have to work on their own before they can afford to employ others. So, entrepreneurs must be well motivated and be able to work without any help. Effective communicator. That is talking clearly and confidently to banks and other lenders, to customers and government agencies about the new business, and this will raise the profile of the business. Lastly, entrepreneurs should be good at networking. That is, they must be prepared to learn from others. Hence, these characteristics and qualities will help to turn ideas into a profitable business. Now we move on to business plan. What is a business plan? So a business plan is a plan, that is a document which contains the business objectives and important details about the operations, finance and owners of the new business. Business plan is therefore a detailed document outlining the purpose and aims of a business, which is often used to persuade lenders or investors to finance a business proposal. Businesses should design business plan. Hence, the business plan describes the business, that is including all details about the entrepreneur, the ideas for the business and information, the skill and expertise of managers or workers. Business opportunity, that is, it will contain information about the product and market research that has been carried out. It will also describe the market in terms of its size, opportunities for growth, and who are its main competitors. The objective of the business is also described in the business plan. That is, what the business hopes to achieve in the future. There is also the financial forecast, such as its cash flow forecast, projected sales, revenue, and profit. Now, let us move on to the importance of business plan. The business plan can also be presented to lenders for loan facilities, plan for the future, and also help to meet challenges which businesses will surely meet. The business plan also forces entrepreneurs to think ahead. and give a sense of purpose and direction. They are used to gain finance from lenders, that is, to convince lenders. If the business plan is not well completed, lenders might be unwilling to give loan. Therefore, careful planning reduces risk. The objectives and forecasts provide the business with targets to aim at and enabling the business to monitor progress. The next part of the lesson is on why government support business startups. Small businesses are important to most economies because they contribute to local economies by bringing growth and innovation to the community in which the business is established. Usually, most government encourages entrepreneurs to start their own businesses. Why do the government often support business startup? Firstly, because it reduces unemployment. There is the creation of jobs. It increases competition and gives consumer more choices. There is an increase in output and this is benefit to the economy of the country. It benefits society, especially it supports disadvantaged groups such as social enterprises. Businesses can also grow further, that is further expansion, because all large businesses were once small. Do you know that currently SMEs employs around 16.3 million people, contributing to 60% of all jobs in the UK? It's been reported that SMEs have created over 2 million jobs in the past 5 years. What support do government often give to start up businesses? Firstly, the government gave business idea and help, such as by organizing training that gives advice and support session which are offered by experienced individuals or specialist agencies. Next, locust premises are given to small businesses. Finance, for example, by giving loan at a low rate of interest or even sometimes interest free, or by providing them with grants. Also, start-up businesses may also benefit from low taxation rate depending on the government. Labor. Government also give grants to small businesses to train their employees. Also, research. This is by encouraging universities to make their research facilities available to new businesses or entrepreneurs. Most governments provide financial support and also other support to new business startups. Comparing the size of businesses. Businesses vary in size and shapes. Some may employ a small number of employees, others may be employing thousands of workers. So how can we classify a business as being small or big? Therefore, business size can be measured in the following ways. Firstly, by the number of people employed. Secondly, by the value of output. Thirdly, the value of sales. And fourthly, the value of capital employed. Let us now move on to the number of people employed. This method is easy to calculate and compare with other businesses. Some businesses will be more labor intensive. That is, the production process is mostly made up of labor than capital. But businesses which use more machinery and technology, that is capital intensive, may have few employees, but they still might be big. For example, Microsoft has less employees, but still it is the biggest business on earth. Let us have a look at this example. The designer shop sells a high value of product compared to the low value product sold by the sweet shop. The revenue of the designer dress shop is likely to be much greater than the sweet shop. The next measure is the value of output. Larger firms are likely to produce more than smaller ones, especially manufacturing industries. However, a high level of output does not mean that a business is large when using the other methods of measurement. For example, a firm employing few people might be producing several expensive items. This might give a higher output figures than a firm selling cheaper products. So, the larger the market a business serves, the more revenue is likely to earn. The next measure is the value of sales. This is often used in retailing businesses to compare the number of sales made. Businesses with a high value of sales and revenue may be considered larger than businesses with a lower sales value or revenue. The last measure is on capital employed. Capital employed is the total value of capital used in the business. Therefore, measuring the size of a business by capital employed means the total value of capital invested into a business. A small business will invest less capital compared to a large business in the same industry. Let us have a look at this example. Both of these businesses are small and have just one owner, but the helicopter rental business requires a much greater capital investment than that needed by the window cleaner. The limitation of measuring business sizes. However, all these methods have their limitation and are not always accurate. For example, when using the number of employees method to compare business size is not accurate, as a capital intensive firms, that is one that employs a large amount of capital equipment, can produce large output by employing very little labor, that is the workers. Similarly, value of capital employed is not a reliable measure when comparing a capital intensive firm with a labor intensive firm. Output value is also unreliable because some different types of products are valued differently and the size of the firm does not depend on this. Hence, in a nutshell, there is no perfect way to measure or compare the size of a business. Some companies may be using more than one method to compare the results obtained. So always remember, profit is not a measure of measuring business size. Now we move on to business growth. Why do owners often want their business to expand? Firstly, because of possibility of higher profits. Secondly, more status and prestige for owners and managers, because high salaries are often paid to managers to control bigger businesses. Thirdly, to get lower average costs, especially when buying in bulk, businesses get economies of scale. Economies of scale are a reduction in business costs as a business expands. Fourthly, growth means higher market share. That is, the proportion of the total market sales is greater. This therefore gives the business more influence when dealing with suppliers and distributors, and consumers are often attracted to the big names in an industry. So businesses can expand in two ways. The first one is through internal growth. This is when a business expands its existing operation. For example, a restaurant owner opens another restaurant or other restaurant in other town. The second one is external growth, which is also called integration. So, external growth is involving a takeover or merger with another business. The three types of external growth are horizontal integration, vertical integration. So, in vertical integration, as you can see, we also have forward vertical integration and backward vertical integration. And the third one is conglomerate integration. So, what is a merger? This is when the owners of two businesses agree to join their firm together to make one. A takeover or acquisition. This is when one business buys out the owners of another business, which then becomes part of the predator. That is the firm which it has taken it over. So, what is horizontal integration? This is when one firm merges with or take over another business which is in the same industry or same stage of production. For example, a garage merges with another garage, or a tractor manufacturer merges with another tractor manufacturer. So as you can see in the example, garage A merges with garage B. So they are at the same level. So the benefits of horizontal integration are: firstly, competitors are reduced, more opportunities for economies of scale, and the business will get a bigger share of the total market. So now we move on to vertical integration. This is when one firm merges with another or take over another firm which is in the same industry but at a different stage of production. So in vertical integration, we have forward vertical integration, that is when a firm merges or take over another firm which is at a later stage of production. That is, they are closer to customers. And then we have backward vertical integration. This is when a firm merges or take over another firm which is at an earlier stage of production. That is going closer to suppliers. So let us now have a look at the benefits of forward vertical integration. For example, a car manufacturer takes over a car retailing business. So the advantages would be: the retailer gets an assured retail outlets, profit margin made is absorbed by the expanded business, and information about consumers' needs and preferences may be known. The benefits of backward vertical integration. Again, for example, a car manufacturer takes over a car body panel. There is an assured supply outlet. Profit margin made is absorbed by the supplier of the expanded business, and the cost of components can be controlled. So now we move on with forward integration. That is when a business merges or take over another business which is at a later stage of production, that is going closer to the customers. For example, you can see an electrical goods manufacturer takes over or merges with an electrical retail shop. So this is forward vertical integration. Backward vertical integration. So this is when a firm merges or take over another firm which is at an earlier stage of production, that is going closer to the supplier. For example, as you can see, a fruit juice shop merges or take over with a fruit juice farm. So this is backward vertical integration. Another example is the national newspaper merges or take over a paper mill. So this is an example of backward vertical integration. So now we move on to conglomerate integration. This is when one firm merges with or take over another firm in a completely different industry. This is also known as diversification. For example, a construction company buys a holiday company. Or another example is building houses company buys a clothing company. So what are the benefits of conglomerate integration? Risks are spread. There is also the transfer of ideas between departments. However, due to the fact that the two businesses are in completely different industries, they may lack experience. Not all businesses lead to success. There are also problems which result with expansion. For example, large businesses are difficult to control and manage. There is also poor communication. The expansion costs may be high. There might be culture clashes. That is, different businesses may have different styles and ways of doing things. Some of the possible ways to overcome the problems are: firstly, businesses may decentralize. Secondly, they may operate in small units. They may expand slowly and always explain the reasons for change. Now we move on to the next segment of this lesson, which is why do some businesses remain small? Not all businesses grow. Some stay small, employ a handful of workers, and have little output. Here are the reasons why. Firstly, the type of industry the business operates. Secondly, the market size. And thirdly, the owner's objectives. Now, let us have a look at each reason in more detail. For example, the type of industries. Some firms remain small due to the industry they operate. Examples of these are hairdressers, car repairs, catering, etc. These businesses give personal services and therefore cannot grow. The next reason is the market size. This is where the total number of customers is small. Therefore, there is no need for the firm to grow and thus stays small. The third one is owner's objective. Not all owners want to increase the size of their firms and profits. Some of them prefer keeping their businesses small and having a personal contact with all of their employees and customers, having flexibility in controlling and running the business, and having more control over decision making and to keep it less stressful. Let us move on now to the causes of business failures. Businesses are not always successful. Sometimes businesses lack management skills. That is, they lack experience and this leads to poor decisions. There are changes in the business environment. For example, in terms of new technology, competitors coming in the market, or economic changes. Liquidity problems or poor financial management. Sometimes there are shortages of cash. The next one is over expansion. That is, businesses expand too quickly. Poor marketing. That is, no research, no market research has been done to find out what customers are looking for. Competition. This is due to globalization and the growth of multinationals. Lack of objective. That is, lack of detailed business plan with no vision. Poor choice of location. There has been the wrong selection of location. So, this is a summary of what we have learned in this lesson, which was rather long. So, an entrepreneur is a person who organizes, operates, and takes the risk for a new venture. A business plan is important for businesses, and the plan contains the business objective and important details about the operation, finance, and owners of the new business. Most government encourages entrepreneurs to start their own businesses because this will benefit the economy. There are also different ways of comparing business size. The last part that we learn is why do businesses grow and the different types of growth that we look at, that is internal growth and external growth. And the last segment of this lesson was on why do some businesses remain small. So these are some of the exams questions that you may tackle. The first question is identify and explain two ways a business plan might have helped to make a business successful. This is in 4 marks. The second question is identify two ways of measuring business size. And the third question is what is meant by capital intensive. So hope you have enjoyed this lesson. I will see you next time for chapter 4.